those last an hour. And also, we're forming a group in West Philadelphia, and we're going to be going all throughout the city seeking help for Brother Jamil. Or tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, Monday on WRD, Brother Jamil Al-Amin's wife, Karima, will be on at 8 o'clock, between 8 and 9, to get people familiar with what's happening. And then there's going to be a Philadelphia connection there that, you know, most people don't know about. And I'm not just talking about the mosque on 60th Street, which is very instrumental in the work that we're doing right now. Then she's waiting for a very important phone call from Jamil, which will be Tuesday night. Then she's returning on Wednesday at 9 o'clock on WRD, Wake Up with Phil in the morning, and to give people a report, and she'll be on with the Attorney General. What she's asking us to do right now, you know, is fruitless with what's going on, asking for the release of him. We got to demand that he get medical care. I have with me flyers. She wants people to call the numbers to the prison facilities. And what we're also doing on Wednesday, and we're organizing, we're bringing groups of people together to organize, and also we can have some visibility throughout Philadelphia. And you know, we're not only on a map, nowhere, and dealing with the worst of them. And that beginning Monday, tell people please come here and get the DVDs, because they'll be here on Monday. And for those who don't know him, Wednesday, part of what we're planning is getting groups and organizations. We started with Philadelphia, and they'll be in front of the federal buildings, and with information. And also, I know we're asking for, I know I'm asking for a banner, and I know the mindset 15th and Catherine, I think it is, and I want to be at 15th and Christian with this big banner, and you know, and asking people to make the phone calls, asking for donations, because we need to plaster Philadelphia, and with who this brother is, and you know, and to help us stop the murder by calling these numbers. That visibility, they need to see us. Anybody with cameras and things, put it out there. You know, showing us. In fact, today, and let people know.
And when we start, if we go up there arguing racism and not the bid bond and not diversity, Jamil Al-Amin, immediately the name implies diversity. That's Article 3, Section 2 of Constitution, which goes back to the enforcement of the treaty that supersedes this, that binds them. That's what you should be arguing. And if you ain't arguing, that's a waiver. And if you waive your right, you ain't got it. Do you understand? And if they allow them to call him black and you don't refute that, he comes under the Christian black codes. In other words, there's a place for everybody, but whatever comes out your mouth, that's where it is. Because status is everything. In law, universally, not just here. And this is where the problem that we have when we just run to the race argument every time we're dealing with this European, when race is the human species. Anybody who ain't racist must not love humanity, because that's what it is. And if you misuse the word, that means you don't understand the language. Do you understand? The Klan don't like Negroes and blacks because they're always trying to be somebody that they're not. Trying to crash everybody else's party. Of course, it doesn't seem that way on the surface, does it? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Going around claiming to be Smith, Jones, and Johnson, and one Smith, Jones, and Johnson, you can't transact business as Smith, Jones, and Johnson because you're acting as Smith, Jones, and Johnson's agent. And so he got you on stock market as an agent. So when you sign that name, you're simply signing as an agent. Ain't your stuff. The point is, you can't transact business in another man's name and then claim any allodial property or right of title. That's why they always get certificates of titles. And they don't even know the certificate of what title is because they don't study law. See the problem? You know, and so all these things which the Europeans have been using to take advantage of our people because they don't study and it doesn't fit their beliefs. And here we go. They don't even know that black is a Middle English word that is derived from Old High German. And the first thing you do when you read, you put it in, you go look for the word, you look for its mother. Its mother, which is its part of speech, which is 8, third grade grammar, right after the word, it'll have it in italics, so you can't miss it. And it'll say adjective. And these people come around and talk about this Afrocentric noun. Child, third grade. Person, place, thing, or idea. Child. Noun, proper noun. To be specific. What's an adjective? It's a modifier. Can an adjective be an identity? No, it cannot be. It describes, it modifies. Third grader. An adult talk about the ancient black gods of Egypt. They just lied. A scholar knows that, but a person quoting emotion takes it as a legitimate statement. So now, a scholar knows, according to the etymon, teaches a third grader. That's why they call our people boys and girls, because they got the mentality of minors. And you can't tell them nothing, because they think they know stuff. And they're arrogant with their ignorance, which makes it worse. First thing you do is you take the etymon. You take a word, put it in its proper mother, its proper part of speech. That's its matrix. Matrix means womb. So that's the etymon. E-T-Y-M-O-N. Etymon to any word in any language is what the atom is to building blocks. Period. And anybody that don't know etymon and etymology can't read. That's why they can come in our communities, make them all kind of mortgage contracts, come 2 years later, get their houses, and then they want to march on the street complaining. They never read the contract because it says tenant. They're sharecropping. Well, they don't know what mortgage is. What, they didn't go to the dictionary, can't read. They know what God and Jesus, when devil's going to get his butt kicked, they don't. Come on. And they sign these instruments and don't never read them, then they want to march and pray. We need to start taking responsibility and stop just complaining with the European. That's why the Europeans sometimes get frustrated, turn around. Why don't y'all go to your black leaders that keep selling you on to slavery? Then we start calling them racist. And you know how much he's telling the truth? He's absolutely telling the absolute truth. Because these principles are taught to anybody in a leadership position. It's called an etymon degree. And all reverends get it, all priests get it, all master masons get it, anybody in a position of leadership gets it. That's why they all must be what? Eastern Stars or Masons. And wear a Moorish fez while pretending they don't know these people are Moors and that this land is Morocco. Whether you deal with Martin Luther King, Sullivan got this church here, Reverend Gray, and all the rest of these marching guys. You know, and you know, this BS, you know, continues with our people frustrating themselves, meeting with these people when they don't even know jurisdiction. In personam, when you're arguing issues about your people, you're dealing with jurisdictional issues. You're dealing with in personam jurisdiction, number one. In personam jurisdiction, subject matter jurisdiction, that's classification of law or the issues that you're talking about. And territorial jurisdiction, that deals with delegations of authority for these people exercising the authority they have or not. And all these things come into question when you're dealing with rights of people, people in jail, etc., the bid bond numbers that the corporate states are making when they rotate these people through these prisons. Everything. Everybody around the world knows it. How come this stuff not taught to our people? Because few pieces of silver.
Can you say those three again, please?
In personam jurisdiction. You all copy this? Because this is basically what's going on. This is the, let me back up, because I want to make sure before I knock this off, I'll make sure you all got this. Because my intention is for us to be more effective, for us to have a foundation to come together. So if we're going to talk about helping this brother, you understand? Or even Mumia, if we bypass these rules, we're on a treadmill. We are. That doesn't mean the work and the effort that people are doing is not good, but you're not dealing with the root of the problem. You're dealing with the symptom of the problem. That's not to dismiss it, nor to dismiss the work. Right. You must put the foundation underneath of it to have a legal argument. These people don't know you're dealing with estate law. Everything is commercial. These people are chattel. Chattel is French for cattle. And persons who have no nationalities are listed as wards of the state. They're listed under chattel law. And they're under occupation. So what happens in law if you're too proud or too arrogant to address that? And then think you're going to address these people's problem? Because you don't want to talk about what's really going on. Because it sounds better to talk about racism. So in law, what really happens?
The teacher.
You're incompetent or a sellout and BSing. People who know law recognize it. People who don't know law, you know, get caught up in the moment. Do you understand? Like, say, for instance, if you're in a concentration camp. Give you an example.
Talk to it. Talk to it.
One of the double agents who were trained in the early years in Texas was trained, you know, because the Christian ministers here and the politicians had little whorehouses and bars and stuff. That was like their little paradise they was going to for years, 90 miles off of Florida, and had little girls, you know, 12, 13 years old in these houses, and they were doing it for years. And news got out to the world because women came out fighting their army with broomsticks and everything. And of course they didn't want this stuff to be hitting the news, like, because they didn't kill a couple of these women trying to protect their little girls. So the CIA's man was named Batista. And they trained a counter agent in Texas. And when they set him up and set Batista down, the counter agent bumped their game and then nationalized Cuba, which is really Isabella, and his name was Fidel Castro. That's the real reason they don't like him. The key is he nationalized Cuba, because that's the political rule around the world to save nations, universally. And we're no different, but we think we are. And by our people not knowing law, when you talk about nationality, they think you're doing some club thing that ain't got nothing to do with them. When that's their political foundation that's missing. This is the reason why the European branded them to take them out of national, and international law protections. All you need to do is get them to agree. Now to contract. Do you understand? This is why the European created the 14th Amendment. After they closed the Freedmen's Bureau. They closed the Freedmen's Bureau in 1868, and they created the 14th Amendment, which is a corpse. And that's called the artificial person, ens legis, straw man, corpse, corporation, and they give it the status of person. And so any issue that they deal with you in any legal case concerning, but if you look at any case concerning this brother, that the claim that they have will be written in all capital letters. That's an estate. They're talking an estate. Waiting for somebody to start talking about the estate. They're going to start talking about racism. Incompetent argument. Do you understand? Feel good. Incompetent argument. Because what's going on is they got a sister Q trust that they're going in and out of. That's what these U.S. Treasury bonds are around the world. And them suckers is dying now because people are nationalizing across the country. And so it's making them treasury bonds dead. And any nation that got them U.S. Treasury bonds is in trouble, because the basis of them bonds are birth certificates, marriage licenses, car registrations, Social Security cards, car registrations. All of them are what back up those treasury, and mortgages. All of them is what backed them UST bonds that they've been selling around the world. That's why this stuff is collapsing, and it's also why the House Joint Resolution 2847, where they're now going to steal these people's bank account as of July the 1st. That's officially, but they've been doing it anyway. Right. And while we talking trash, this thing getting ready to crash all around us. Our arguments are diversions. Don't mean they're not legitimate symptom-wise, but law-wise, they're dead. Not totally, but for the most part, dead. If I could pick this up, I could take you right into law book and prove it to you. But our people don't deal with law books because that's the white man stuff. That's your stuff. And Europeans ruling you with your own stuff because you've abandoned it. Our mothers and fathers are the founders of civilization. And we are the direct descendants of Asiatic Africans who are descendants of them, and you give our people civilization information, and they start talking about that's somebody's belief, that's that white man stuff, and then dismiss it. And then they're back in the nigger suit. Then they want to complain. Do you understand? The Europeans ruling you with your own stuff. And as soon as you understand that you're the white man, he's the black man, and he traded places with you, and that their legal statuses, it's hard to get our people because we're creatures of habit, and we think that black is some section of Africa. No, it's true.
Good teacher.
Black. Now, I want you to go right to law dictionary, and I want you to go home if y'all got an Oxford dictionary. And I'm telling you you can take a child and take them to a dictionary and prove it. First, you go to black. Then this is how you're supposed to read. Black. Y'all got this? I'm gonna erase this. I'm gonna give you a quick etymon degree. And then keep. Now, this is also the official name of Christianity. And Constantine is who they're worshiping. They think they're worshiping Jesus. And so this creed was made up 325 AD. This is what the Nicene Council is. So the official name of what they're calling Christianity is the Niceno-Constantinopolitan Creed. The political operations on the world is the Niceno-Constantinopolitan hegemony. This is where the Europeans get their what you call supremacy doctrine from. The operations with the agreements of the so-called Christian nations, which is not spirituality, it's an order of Constantine nations, European nations, of what you know as Romans, which means red man. You understand? The Roman nations in collection order under the Spanish Inquisition, which is the Inquisition against the Moors and Jews, both of which is you.
So there's paperwork and legal documents involved in everything, birth and death. She's asking a question.
And
Hold up. If she has a birth certificate that has a ethnicity or a racial designation on it, and she now knows better, she can't do anything without paperwork.
That's
yes.
what I'm saying.
That's what she's asking.
Exactly.
So what
Yes.
paperwork can she
That
get?
I can prove, because everything has been wiped away, and on our birth certificates and our social security card, it's all in caps. Like you're saying, we are a state. It's on here. So how do I tell them? How do I dispute that? Like,
Let
how
me
do
say
I?
this with you, sis, real quick. Now, I do this because I travel, right? What we have to do, study what an affidavit is. You don't have to get it. 3 people. This is how Jews work.
Yes,
Jews
they do.
had 3 people signing off on them.
Yep.
Are you familiar with that? You better study up
Yeah.
race of a people. 3 people signed for them, okay? The same thing I've done with my paperwork probably over 15 years ago, and now it's on every document. You always create paper trails. When I go to the airport, there ain't no other name on it but Sabir Bey. They try to figure out like where I'm from, but I say I'm from right here. Just know how to use your tools. Become that master mason. Know how your stuff is worked. But like she said, she's a mortician. But what we got to do is have the paperwork there for people, not going to no temple to get it. You create it, you amongst your own. We have to create our own.
And you can't do
Affidavits is
affidavits.
law. You follow me?
And that death certificate needs to be changed.
Exactly.
That
Yes.
needs to be changed.
Now, you being a
Moore is
mortician-
nowhere on there.
Now,
No,
in
it's
reference
not.
to that, you being a mortician,
Yeah.
you know immediately, as soon as someone passes form,
Yes.
everything goes into probate.
Yes.
And you need to know why that takes place, and you need to know how to counter that.
Absolutely. Now, lastly, because I know it's other people, we are not keeping documents.
Nope.
We don't put nothing up. We don't have our bloodline paperwork.
Exactly.
We have no birth records.
Yes.
We don't keep jack.
Yes.
And I get calls every day from people who died in the 80s who are about to get put out of their houses because they don't have their documents.
And this is
We
why
got to
you
do
are
better.
important to what you're
Absolutely.
doing. You're important because the most powerful tool is the coroner. People understand it in the land. They don't understand that. Because when my father passed away, they was trying to pin him down as being black.
Yes.
What I did on his paperwork
Yes.
is put that he was a Cherokee Moor.
There you go.
Okay? I had to correct the paperwork
Yes,
because
you
I was conscious to what was going on.
Because you got to balance the birth
Exactly.
record and the death record.
All right,
You
have
this
to
is-
have that paperwork. You got-
About the non-pro-tum. Those who don't know law aren't familiar with the non-pro-tum. So I'm going to read the non-pro-tum to you. And the non-pro-tum is a reissue of Resolution 75, Act of Congress, 1933. And they reissued it after they murdered the brothers and sisters to imply to the international community that they're not maintaining servitude here or that they've reached out to the people. They did not. They murdered our brothers and sisters and made these false charges on them under color of law as colored people and denied them due process under the Christian black codes as Christian property. That's what they're operating under. That's what the Europeans are operating under. They create a false status. They adjudicate you under that false status. And then what they're waiting for is someone to come up and speak for them. if someone does not come up and speak for them in a international forum, they're abandoned. That's why I wrote that article for Mumia before, when everybody run around, you know, trying to deal with this issue, getting frustrated when the first issue you got to deal with is his status, his legal status. And for those who don't know, I'll reintroduce the article to show you, and I got responses from Germany and Denmark, not here. So what, you know, it's like if the people here are not going to stand up for the birthright, but, you know, to them it's like this: if the heirs of the estate aren't going to argue the estate, it's an abandonment. Because everybody around the world knows that the United States is a corporation, not the land. And our people keep calling the United States Corporation Company the country, which gives them the sovereign right, because you're the heir. Whatever you say, you've just assigned them. Then they call them Americans and they call the country America, which you just assigned them to the sovereign. Which means these people don't even know geography. America's not a country, it's 2 continents. They're incompetent and don't understand that when they say those things, in law, it's what you said. What you mean is irrelevant. What you said is what it is. And this is what makes it dangerous for our people to get this information and not be given law. Because their arguments will be based in emotion, totally correct emotionally, totally correct symptomatic, but in law, legally dead. You understand? So I'm going to read the non-pro-tunc. I'm going to read the Resolution 75 Act of Congress. Then I'm going to read the non-pro-tunc on the jurisdiction, Resolution 75. And remember, under United States, under international law, this information was dispensed to all community leaders. Now, they're going to say they didn't get this, they don't know. They can tell you whatever they want to tell you, and I'm not going to argue that. International community, international nations signed on to this on your behalf. You understand? All right, so this Resolution 75, Act of Congress, General Assembly of Pennsylvania, because this is where they took your birthright, right? And I'm telling you, these suckers with their strategies, but the deal is we have to be active to counter their strategies. That's the point. But you got to know the chess moves in order to counter. But if you don't know the chess moves, you're doing something else. Meaning well, but we got to get competent. We really do. General Assembly, this is the Journals of the House of Representatives. So you already understand this is public record. So it means there ain't no secret stuff that somebody can't find. There ain't no club stuff. This is General Assembly. That means all your congressmen, all your politicians, all your senators, ATC, presidents, all the branches of government. So when people try to act like they don't know what this stuff is, you can accept that argument, but you would be naive to say that Santa Claus really bought you your bike. You know. Journals of the House, 1933. Page 57, 59. This is for those who would counter this, so you have reference point. The General Assembly of Pennsylvania filed of the House of Representatives Resolutions number 75, printer's number 1034. Mr. Whitkin in place, April 17, 1933. Moorish American Society of Philadelphia in the use of their names. Many sons and daughters of that proud and handsome race which inspired the architecture of Northern Africa and carried into Spain the influence of its artistic temperament have become citizens of this nation. So you must know the distinction between the nations and the nation state, the corporate nation, and also the people of the land. So if you don't know the history, you can get that twisted. I'm just interjecting. In the city of Philadelphia, there exists a Moorish American society made up of Moors who have found here the end of their quest for a home and of the children of those who journeyed here from the plains of Morocco. So you must know ancient history here with the great Annexum Supernavir, when the land was divided from Ham and Cush, when the Atlantic was still a river. And those of us who crossed the river are called the Ibri, falsely called in history Hebrew. That means those of us who crossed the river, we're not a different people. We're simply the father Africans who crossed the river before the great earthquake and before the land separated. That northeast, southwest Africa, across the great Atlantis, including North, Central, South America, including the adjoining islands of Americana and Mexico, center of civilization, comprises the Moroccan Empire. That's the aggregate outline. And if you don't know that history, you better know that history, because if you don't make a claim, you have no birthright. This is what is based in all your secret societies that they refer to as the Great Masonic Secret. You are. This is why they all use your pyramid, because they're claiming your estate until you claim it. And if you don't claim it, Illuminati's got it. That's all it is. That's all it means. That ain't their pyramid, it's yours. Now, if you want to give it up because you want to be black, Christian property, that's 14th Amendment. That's their property. You keep claiming it, and that's what's been happening to us. All of us. And we are our brother's keeper. What happens to you happens to me. What happens to me happens to you. And this is all under the Spanish Inquisition. That's where all these political operations are coming from. So you must understand that this is why we passed out, even before we was here, the corporation papers of the United States Corporation Company, because people think it's a country. They're even incompetent when they're making the arguments. It's a corporation that belongs to the Jesuits. They're holding your estate in trust. If you don't approach it from that perspective, you're immediately incompetent. And you know that's not the pattern. But I say to you this, all these leaders know this stuff. They just ain't telling you.
Taj, hold up.
Now.
Hold up. We got a half an hour, y'all. We just going to open up. Gotta go with Shafiq and a couple of brothers. Shafiq.
Right. Just to add to what you were saying, it would only go into probate if there was no trust or will set up. That's the only reason why.
Correct.
I studied that part of law.
Correct.
So, but I wanted to confirm you on a statement that you made. You said that they reissued Resolution 75 when the Moon Fire happens and brothers and sisters were murdered.
Yeah.
Now, I need you to confirm that, because number one, a resolution is not law.
No, it's not law.
Wait. Number two, Congress went into Incendia before
1861.
Right,
May
before
10th.
1933.
Yeah.
So anything that was passed is unconstitutional anyway.
Yes.
So you have to give me some proof and documentation on those facts that you're relating a resolution to be law when it's not.
It's not law.
Right.
No one said it's law. The point, when I qualified myself, the reason I'm making the statement is to let these people know that people are conscious of who they are. Resolution is never law. Congress has been adjourned sine die since 1861, May the 10th. There is no United States. Then officially, again, after about 4 bankruptcies, they dissolved in 1933 when they were already dissolved, which is House Joint Resolution 192, the 73rd Congress. And so we don't have time to tell them everything, so we're giving them keys so they can make reference points. But my major thing in bringing up Resolution 75 is this pretext of all these leader guys pretending they don't know these people are Moors. That includes all the politicians who keep screwing our people and denying them due process. Because by due process, they already know that Mumia and Jamil Al-Amin aren't black people. They're Moors held under War Powers Act. And so people got to come after them and challenge jurisdiction, Article 3, Section 2. This is what I'm trying to imply. The international community will back them up.
Okay. But this is what I love about what
right off the Barnary sub-stop, Philadelphia, PA. Shot so loud you would think it was a club spot. African Americans, although we all over the web, we the hood librarians. We ship to prisons too. We reach out and deliver to those that's bitten too, but it's more than a bookstore. You wonder we got it, mixtapes, DVDs, and culture products. Black and Nobel got our hands in a lot of projects. We welcome all to come build. The energy is positive, and remember other teams is awake and conscious. Come through and experience this place of knowledge. They say they'll put it in a book if they wanna hide it from us, but we got them books so you can buy it from us. Something to read while you on a train or riding a bus. Get your read on, food for thought, get your eat on. Black and Nobel, I buy my